Bulldog family, welcome back in. We are very excited on the football team and as a football staff. We've got 1 week of practice under our belt. We got to see a lot of good things from our players. We got to see some things that we needed to get cleaned up, and we're very excited about where we're at as a team right now and what this could possibly mean for this year. I'm open for any questions.
So we were curious to hear what your starting lineup on the offensive side looks like right now.
Yeah, right now we're looking at on the line, we're going to go probably with seniors Isaac Berry and Deshaun Dunnigan, along with junior Reese Frick. And then in the backfield, we're looking at 3 juniors, Logan Simon, Jackson Combs, and Keegan Northern.
What will Jackson be doing for your offense?
Jackson is going to be lined up in what we call our fullback position or our blocking back position.
And how has he proven or shown you that he deserves that spot?
He's very smart. He dove into the playbook as soon as we gave it to him. He's very quick on reading his keys and reading who he needs to block based off of how well the line in front of him is blocking and based off of the defensive front and the defensive look.
Have you seen much improvement or changes looking at the first week of practice?
Yes, the first couple days of practice, it's all about trying to just get stuff installed, making sure people, like I said last week, go back to assignment execution, just learning what the assignments are, and by the end of the week we could call plays that we didn't have to walk through them and talk through them, and they just ran out and were able to execute them at a pretty high level.
Shay Maxwell, Ingalls School X Media. So we know that there's an upcoming scrimmage on Friday, and we've heard it's purple and white. So do you have a format for that upcoming scrimmage?
Yeah, we're kind of, as a coaching staff, we're kind of trying to work through exactly what we're going to do. Don't hold me exactly to it, but what we're thinking about right now is probably splitting them into pretty even teams and then going 4 or 5 series each. I'll call the offense, Coach Steinmetz call the defense, and then Coach Pelichuk will kind of tell us what they're seeing, what he's seeing, and if we're missing blocks or if we're going too far upfield or this or that on defense. And then we'll split off from that, and we'll probably do a little bit of first team O against scout team defense, and then first team defense against some scout team offense.
What has this week of practice looked like for you guys?
Yeah, so it was pretty much every day was about 2 hours. It was, get out. We have certain things that we do right at the beginning of practice, making sure that they understood what our expectations were for getting them out there at practice, and then really just learning. And the big thing was a lot of effort. Make sure we are doing everything with proper technique and make sure that we are, 100% effort. If we mess up, I can deal with it. But if we mess up and then we stop, which did happen a little bit, we're not too excited about that. And so we've really been harping effort with them.
Do you have a player that stood out this week to you?
There's been several guys that have really stepped up and shown me some really great things. I think we got to film a little bit of our practice Saturday, and I think it was pretty apparent to me that the backfield knows very well what they're doing. And then obviously with never having coached 6-man before, seeing what the offensive line really needs to do has been a little bit of been something that I've been able to see that we need to work on. But they're still going out there showing great effort. So I guess to answer your question, it's not necessarily 1 or 2 guys that have stood out, but really pretty much all of them have stood out as putting effort in and willing to learn.
How do you think the freshman players will do, considering that it's more intense this year because they're players?
There's some freshmen that are going to fight for some playing time, some meaningful minutes on the varsity level. We do have 3 JV games scheduled, so I think that's going to be where we're going to really get to see them shine. I will say that one of the freshmen that's just stood out has been Rylan Smith. He he has a ton of effort, and we know that when he's on scout team, he's going to get through the line almost every time and kind of blow something up, and we've got to account for him, and that gives us a really good look.
When will these JV games be?
I'm not 100% sure on the dates. I know that we have 3 of them. They will be on Mondays, but I can have the dates for you all next week. Mhm.
What about defensive?
So I don't work as much with the defense as Coach Steinmetz does. I don't want to speak exactly to the starters because I don't know exactly where we're at. I know we have a few more question marks on the defensive side, starting wise, than we do on the offensive side.
And another philosophy before like that, do you have a goal for varsity practice?
The big goal was get to know the kids and the kids to get to know the playbook. I think we accomplished both of those pretty well. We obviously, as a coach, coaches always tell you it's never where they want it to be after 1 week, but I am pleased with where we are at.
And another question, Shay Maxwell, Ingalls Media. Another question, I guess, about your starting players. Do you have anybody in the rank for quarterback? Like, do you have any starting quarterbacks?
Yeah, Logan Simon is going to be there, and then we, as coaches, we always kind of have to have ideas of, if something were to happen to him, what we would do. And we have about 3 options. We have 4 guys that we feel really comfortable. If we put them back there, we could execute still.
Another philosophy before like media, what has Logan shown you to
Logan's shown that he's able to command the offense really well. He can read the ball, or he can read the defense really well, and he's quick on his decisions. And so it's somebody that if it's one of those guys that I'm comfortable with the ball being in his hand every single snap.
Dear friends, Ingalls Media, who you mentioned that there were 4 other players that could be
Mhm.
who are those 4?
So Xander Christensen, we feel confident with him being back there. Keegan Nothern and Ezra Wilkinson. If we put any of those back there, we feel like we're confident we could do pretty good with them.
Shay Maxwell, Ingalls Media. What do you have in the list for, like, your center?
Say that again.
Center? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, so we have 3 guys that could play center for us. Reese Frick, he's made it. He's kind of set himself above everybody else, and then kind of fighting for that second spot would be junior Jesse Allen, and then freshman Gavin Maxwell.
What about running back?
Yeah, so we're actually loaded. In my mind, we're loaded in the running back room. Pretty much everybody else that hasn't been mentioned could find themselves in the running back position. I'm sure I'm going to miss a couple guys, but like I said, Jackson Combs and Keegan Nothern kind of set themselves up ahead of everybody else. Ezra Wilkinson could go back there. Brett Markle could go back there, and we're confident. We've seen Dakota Schiffelbein a little bit back there. We have Irvin Rees and Daniel Steinmetz. All of them have seen some good time over the last week in the backfield, and there's not anybody that we're like, they're out of those. There's not really anybody that we're just not confident in. We feel like if we put them back there, we would be able to get done what we needed to.
Jersey Sarver, Ingalls Media. So we know that the weight room is a big part of your guys'
Mhm.
practice and getting stronger. What have you seen so far this week in the weight room?
So yeah, they, like I kind of said last week, Deshaun Dunnigan showed that he was the strongest guy on our team by far and away. We looked at what the difference is from the beginning of summer to the end of the summer, or I guess the beginning of the school year, and pretty much everybody either maintained what their maxes were on both bench and squat or improved. We saw some really big improvements. We saw on the bench side, we saw one kid improve 35%, but just about everybody improved at least 5 or 10 pounds, which is very, very good to see.
Ingalls Media. Going along with the freshmen, do you feel like they could fill in the lead and playing?
Yes, I think they're fitting in really well, and we've kind of found some spots for them. And like I said, there's going to be some of them that are going to push for some really meaningful minutes this year, which is good for us as a coaching staff. We feel confident in that because that means that we don't have to rely on the 6 starters. We can take them out and still move the ball down the field and stop the ball when our opponent has it.
How is the scrimmage
So we're going to go 4 or 5 drives with each team. And then we'll probably look at some first team versus scout team on both offense and defense.
So, one last question, Shane Maxwell, Ingalls Boys Media. So you talked a little bit about the weight room and what, as far as like having running backs and stuff. So do you feel like this year you're more focused on strength or speed in the terms of players and your goals?
It depends on the player. We're blessed on the offensive line that we have a little bit of height and a little bit of strength. And Isaac Berry, Reese, and Deshaun, they're all real strong kids, and we have some different play calls in that we can utilize their speed and how quick they are. And so for them, it's a little bit more strength, and then in the backfield, it's a little bit more speed. But I think that honestly, those kind of go hand in hand, and it's kind of what my message to them all summer was that for example, in squat, the lower you can get and the more weight you can push up, the higher you can bring your knee up and the quicker you can drive it into the ground to make you faster. So I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.